Live. Gents, what's going on?
Not much. How you doing tonight?
Howdy, how are you?
I'm good, man. Just busy. As I said before, that dad life, just dinner and baths and bedtime and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, we don't get how that is yet. We're pretty young. Yeah,
take your time.
Yeah,
Take your time.
Well, nice.
But I am joined tonight by the band Cuddledrug, which I have never So it came my way, and I can't believe that I've never heard of you guys before.
Well, we'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, I mean, so you guys are based out of Wilkes-Barre, correct?
Yeah, well, we live in Philadelphia.
Okay.
But most of us are from the Wyoming Valley.
Okay.
So, like,
Maybe.
I grew up in Larksville. He grew up in Nanticoke. He's from Reading, and
My parents are from there.
yeah. So
Okay.
that's when we started the band, but now we're in Philly. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's why I haven't heard of you before.
All right.
'Cause you're
Fair enough.
You're kind of more in Philly, but I mean, you're from here, so that's good enough.
Yep.
But I came across your music, and I love it for one. And I also heard or read that you are doing a new album being set to release on Sunday, February 14th, which is Valentine's Day. And that's for a specific reason. We'll get into that.
Okay.
And then prior to that, you guys are doing a live stream on Saturday, February 13th, correct?
Yes, we are. 4
Very cool.
o'clock.
4 o'clock. Okay. On your Facebook page or?
No, we're doing it on our Instagram account. That's at Cuddledrug, one word. So that's the account that we do most of our outreach on. So that's where we're going live at 4 o'clock on Saturday.
Very cool. All right. Saturday, 4 o'clock, Cuddledrug Instagram page. So there's 4 of you here with me.
Yep.
Let's go around the room and tell me who you are, what you do in the band, and we'll start there.
All right, cool. You want to start, Fraser?
Yes, I will start. So my name is Frazee. I play guitar and sing.
I'm Derek. I play drums, and I also play guitar and piano and sing.
I'm David. I sing and I play acoustic guitar.
And I'm Pat. I play bass.
Cool. And Derek is wearing a Red Barons shirt for those of you
Yeah.
who are just listening. Throwback to Northeast PA.
Yeah. That's actually the other band that I play in, a junk punk band from Scranton called the Red Barons. I play drums for them.
Oh, so that's okay. So
Yeah.
I was confusing you with the minor league Phillies team.
Yep. Well, definitely named after the Red Barons. I grew up going to Red Barons games all the time with my dad. So
Hell
I
yeah.
grew up going to a bunch of them as well too. So
I have a few jerseys at home laying around. They're I didn't want to get rid of them. I'll hang on to them for as long as I can,
Hell yeah. You could probably sell them on eBay right now for a lot of money.
I'd rather just keep them. But yeah.
I still have a wooden bat actually that I got from one of those games. That's really nice. It has the Red Barons logo on it and everything. It's pretty awesome.
So is it one of the small bats or is it one of the big ones? All right, we're back from some technical difficulties. This happened to me last week too. I'm very, very sorry. But
No,
yeah.
It's no sweat at all, man. But before we keep going, I'm curious. Are we? Is this a family-friendly program? Can we crack one?
Bro,
All right, sweet.
What are
There
you
we
guys? Is that a hams?
Yep, we're cheap. We're cheap and broke.
Bro, that's the best hams.
Oh, this is good stuff. Drank this all throughout college. This is like our flagship beer when we need one.
Hey man,
All right.
I love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Me and my buddies used to go to Boston every year until the friggin' pandemic ruined everything in life.
Yeah. Sure.
And we didn't drink hams, but we would also all say like we're going ham, which is hard as a motherfucker.
There you go. Yeah, going ham.
Going
We
ham.
used to drink a craft beer that was called Rogue, and whenever we did that, we always had to go Rogue. So
Okay.
same
like
sort of shit.
I like it. So I apologize for that little break there. Where were we? We were talking
about minor league baseball.
Yeah.
I think.
And because the Red Barons it's now, instead of the affiliate of the Phillies, it's an affiliate of the New York Yankees. And
Dirty
I
Yankees.
myself am a Red Sox fan, so I hate the Yankees.
Well, my grandfather
Fair
from
enough.
Scranton is a Red Sox fan, so I always root for the Sox. I root
Yeah.
for anybody who's playing the Yankees. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
So we talked about who you guys were. When did you guys start the band?
It was originally my solo project. So I played in a band with him when we were in high school called Ticket to Ride. And when we were having that band go on, I kind of branched off and did my own acoustic thing. And there was a band that I played in with a bunch of other dudes named Derek. It was called Derek because that was all of our first names. So that was billed on some flyers. So I couldn't just call myself Derek. When people would say, hey, Derek is playing, it was like, oh, they would show up and see me playing my acoustic guitar and get pissed because they expected that it was going to be the punk band. So I had to come up with a solo project name. And I went with the name Cuddledrug. It plays off of the neurotransmitter oxytocin, which is released whenever you do anything like give somebody a hug or like, you know, whenever you're feeling it, right? When you feel care for somebody, that's oxytocin. So we're Cuddledrug. And so I had that going on for a while, and I recorded 2 records in like 2011 and 2013 myself. And then when I was at Wilkes, I met Dave, and we decided to make it into more of a cohesive project. So it's just kind of grown from there. After I left Wilkes, I moved down to Philadelphia. Then we added Frazee and Pat. My brother Dylan, who's not here, he's like a live performer for us. He plays guitar and keyboard and literally everything we throw at him so that we could facilitate the music we record live with the best of our ability. And he's involved. And then the other guys in Ticket to Ride, Nate and Danny, were involved with playing for some of the shows that we had back in the day. So it's like a big family band. But this is the current most recent lineup that we got going on.
Yeah, this is kind of the core group.
Okay.
Yeah.
At this point, so.
Awesome. So when I first saw your name, Cuddledrug, this probably won't make any sense to you guys, but I have to say it. I immediately thought of a term that my friend used to say, cuddle duds. And what cuddle duds are, I guess, from what I've been told, are like the leggings or the underwear that you would wear under your clothes, I think. And we started
Cuddle
saying
duds.
that because
Yeah,
we go camping in the fall, and
Yeah.
say make sure you bring your cuddle duds.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
They're like long johns. My grandmother
Yeah.
used to say about that. Oh, it's gonna be cold tonight. Better get your cuddle duds.
Yeah, so I guess it's a real thing. So shout out to my friend Dave.
Well, that makes
Kowalik.
sense because
That's wild.
we're all like outdoorsy kind of dudes. Like, especially Dave and I, we were in Alaska in the summer of 2017 doing research. So I guess we got to change the band name now. We got Cuddle Duds.
Cuddle duds.
That's
You were-
awesome. I didn't ever heard of that. So that's cool.
That's funny. So you were in Alaska doing research. What were you guys doing research on?
You want to take this one?
Yeah. So we were helping a researcher study climate change effects on different populations of a tussock or essentially a
Grass.
Yeah.
Grass plants that were in the
Grass plants,
Arctic tundra. So like way up in the Arctic Circle.
Yeah.
And we were stuck in the middle of nowhere for a hot second. It was fun.
They're pretty common up in that area because especially when you hit the tree line where you start to get into the truly Arctic areas where trees can't grow. And so this researcher that we were helping, we were essentially going to 3 different sites that were spread along this like kind of track from like north to south. And we would take measurements on each of the plants that we were studying and kind of compile these massive data sets. And so it was a lot of field work, a lot of time out in the middle of nowhere.
A lot of not showering.
Yeah.
A lot of
We
being.
sauned in instead of it because of
There was a sauna at the field station where everybody would just get naked and hang out in a room with a wood stove.
and then we would to get a reprieve from the heat, we would jump in the lake right outside the sauna and then go right back in and repeat that cycle like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
It's
and the sun never sets. So I got Arctic sun or midnight sun madness because it just kind of spins around in the sky when you're up there. And after a while, I was just kind of going crazy. So it was a good time.
Yeah.
We wrote a lot of music up there.
There you go.
Yeah, we had to.
I was under the impression that climate change wasn't real.
Nah. We went all the way up there
right.
across God's green earth to
Yeah.
basically see it for ourselves.
Yeah.
It's definitely happening.
A little note that the lead researcher gave us when he started the research project, which was
In the 70s, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, it's been decades since he started it. He told us when he initially started it, the southernmost site had no trees growing there, and that was because of the climate, because the trees literally couldn't.
Yeah.
And now the site is almost overrun with alpine trees, because that area now has a climate that's able to support trees. So if anything can prove that climate change is a thing, it's that.
Right.
We actually got on this podcast to put forward our message about climate change.
Yeah, for anyone just listening or watching, I mean, we are joking. I mean, there are people who think it's not real, but I am not one of them. I mean, to each their own. You can be.
Hey, we're here to talk about music. We're just talking about how we went to an Alaskan field station and why,
Right. So music. Well, you said you wrote a lot of music there. Was any of that music part of the Cuddledrug project or?
Mm-hmm. A record that is currently out on all major streaming platforms, part of our discography. Dave helped me write when we were there. It's called It Works Both Ways. It was originally released under the name Summer Holds the Earth, which was the band I was playing with at the time. But in retrospect, we recognized that it was a true Cuddledrug record because it had the collaborative effort between Dave and I, and also the input of the entire group. So we ended up making the decision to re-release it under our record label as a Cuddledrug record. So now that is part of the discography. All the music we created up there.
Cool. And you have a few different albums out, correct? Like 3 or 4?
We have 12.
12?
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm way behind on you guys then. Jesus.
Too much music.
Wow.
There's always been a song dump of a band.
Okay.
Where we just record. I think the point of a band, Pat Kindlin from one of our favorite bands, End of the Year, or Self-Defense Family, or Drug Church. He has like 6 bands. He was playing a show the one time and he just said, it's the duty of a band to make as much music as you possibly can. And I support that 100% because whenever we come up with a new vibe, every single Cuddledrug iteration has the same basic parts, but it's fundamentally different in the way it came together, which is why it's a fun project for us because it always ebbs and flows. And there's so many contributors. We had one record where we had a full orchestra, a legitimate wind ensemble. That was Cut Your Demons Down that we released in 2018, something like that. I can't keep my head straight about all that shit, but yeah. So
the Spotify's telling me 2019.
Yep, exactly. If Spotify doesn't lie.
Yeah. And actually, so I haven't been able to like go through album by album because when I heard you guys, it was one of the songs I think coming up on the new record. I think.
Yeah, we have 2 singles out from the new record. This record, actually, we even brought it down so we could have. Yep, fantastic. It's real. We got the physical records all ready to go. So these
Old
are
school.
Of 500, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you could enjoy Cuddledrug from the safety of your mid-2000s compact car.
You're very right. They don't make the CD players anymore in the cars.
I got an 05 Tacoma, so I still listen to CDs all the time. I don't have an aux cable or Bluetooth in that boy.
There you go. I used to listen to CDs all the time. Then I got a new car, and they don't have a CD player.
Yeah.
But then I even advanced, like I would buy CDs still, but then I would put them on my iPod. And I had one of those old classic ones that it was like 160 gig. So it could fill like it could hold like 1,000 tons of songs. I forget how many songs exactly. But I would go buy the CD, I'd put it on my computer, put it on the iPod, and like my CD collection from like 2008 till 2018 is probably just in pristine condition because it like saw the light of day once.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I recently dug through all of my old CDs and I just found so much gold from back in the day. So
I did too.
All that good stuff.
Yeah, I just moved back last August, so when I was packing, I was going through all of my my CDs then, and I found some great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that my son one day will go through them and the CDs to him will be what records are to us now, I guess.
Maybe there'll be a revival. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
the
he's going to
CD
be like, Dad, how do I play this?
Yeah, exactly. Or he'll just like sell them because he can make a ton of money on them.
That's why I keep all my old laptops so I can have an optical drive. Streaming now.
So I started like just randomly playing your music. So I don't know what song is from what era and what album. So I'm not going to try and pretend like I know that stuff. But
it's a jungle anyway. Don't worry about it.
The one song I don't remember what it was that I heard, and my wife said she's like that has a Sublime vibe to it.
Ooh, never heard that. Dang.
Yeah, what song
That's
was
good.
that?
Probably Crying Person.
Shit,
I have no idea.
I don't remember.
Well,
It's
if it
not
comes to you.
I'll let you guys know.
I'd love to know because I want to know what vein we're hitting that we got to keep hitting. That's cool.
Yeah, but so let's talk about this weekend because it's a big weekend. You have Saturday, you have the stream. You're going to be live on your Instagram page. Are you doing the stream for anything in particular?
Yes. So this album is written to eulogize our friend Gage. It's a record that talks about suicidality, and it does so in a way that's not necessarily depressing or is meant to bum you out. Because when you write about the issue of suicide or you write about losing the people that you love, of course that music is going to be bummer. But we decided that wasn't going to be this. The world has been ending for a whole year. We were so sick of that. We lost our homie in the middle of that, and it just kind of set us over the edge of writing sad songs. We didn't want to. So we did it in a more uplifting, energetic, positive, hopeful way. So this record, it's a eulogy for our friend Gage, but none of the songs are actually written directly about what happened to him. It's all written about our perspective and the way that we were building our lives and how we were experiencing the world in this crazy political climate and this gnarly once in a century pandemic. Just so you know, we're all in the same house, so that's why we're not masked. So, and I'm vaccinated because I work in healthcare, so I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, we kind of, maybe a week and a half ago, we sat down, felt really guilty about making any money from a record that directly addresses these issues, because we wrote this record to eulogize Gage. We wrote it in a function of catharsis because we were so utterly upset. So we felt guilty. We kind of all came to a consensus about feeling really guilty about keeping money from this. So we decided as a band that we weren't going to. So we were going to donate 100% of the proceeds that come from this to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, because they're an organization that truly improves people's mental health outcomes. And we do that in memory of our friend Gage, who is one of my closest friends. Right, he's one of my best friend's husbands for the longest time. Actually, the person that did all of the album photography, my friend Ashton, who now lives in Boston, used to live in Pittsburgh, was married to Gage. He lived with Gage and Ashton for a long time in Pittsburgh. He's from Wilkes-Barre, right? He grew up in South Wilkes-Barre. We used to get into trouble together. So I knew him before because I was really good friends with Ashton too, but he was just like a part of us. He was a big slice of our lives. And when he took his life, it still messes me up. There's not a day that goes by that I don't deal with that. But this record addresses that directly to say that there is hope. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. That's why we're trying to direct as much attention as we can to that organization that will help people like him, like us, like everyone. So,
yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that.
To.
I'm sorry to hear that about your friend. That's awful. But I think what you guys are doing is really great. And I hope you sell a lot of records and make a lot of money. And mental health, I think, is not. I don't want to say finally, but like, it's finally being talked about in a sense, especially this past year. Because I mean, I'm fortunate where I don't think I've ever really experienced any kind of mental health issues. I mean, there were times like this, especially this past year, where going through a pandemic and having at the time a 2-year-old son, and kind of trying to navigate this crazy life that we have, and with a
Yeah.
kid. Not that I'm any different from anybody else, but like it's just a different scenario. It's definitely it's taxing, and thankfully I'm in a good state, and my wife and I are good communicators with each other, and we help each other through things, but not everyone has that. And
Yeah,
I always, when I hear things like this that happen, and people taking their own lives, and I can't imagine what they were like going through, and it obviously wasn't good, with internal struggles or whatever it might be. It's people often say like, oh, suicide is what's the word, a coward way out.
Yeah.
But
I used to say stuff like that when I was younger.
sure.
I used to think those things, and what a night, an incredible lie that is.
Yeah.
I mean, what a crazy way to think about the world.
Yeah. I mean,
it's good to have the support systems that we do, and that's really important. And even when we're steeped in our support system, sometimes we need an outside perspective to bring us back, to break us out of that fight or flight response, to remind us that there is hope in our situation.
yeah.
So that's why we're supporting the hotline.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. I can't imagine like what someone goes through to get to that level, like where like that's like the best route. I'm thankful that I haven't never experienced that, but I'm you get older and you think about those things, and it's like, how did they get to that point? And how terrible must it have been in their own head that that's the route that they took. So
a big part of this record is that I had insight into my friend Gage's thought process, right? And I'll beat myself up, or I have been beating myself up trying to get answers to questions that there really are no answers.
Right.
And that's the worst part, is that you won't ever get an answer. But this album talks a lot about that in different ways, in processing that and accepting that it's okay. Like the last track on the record that Dave wrote is called Mind is Full. And it talks about being mindful that sometimes you have so much in your head that it's okay to accept that you just can't hold a single other thought. You're so full. That's a lot of what we end up talking about. But what I was saying is that it's not a bummer, right? We do it in a way that we do suggest that even if you can't understand, even if you even can't understand what you're going through, I'm not saying you, but like in a general sense,
right.
If someone's going through something, there's always tomorrow. There's tomorrow if you want it.
Right.
And that's one of the big messages that we try to put forward. We have dance songs, we have indie pop songs, we have some like harder rock songs. There's a big variety on this album. And I think that goes with the kind of thoughts that go through anybody's mind, especially in a year of a pandemic, So there's a lot going on all the time. This record is definitely a mixed bag of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. In a big way, sorry about that.
No, go ahead.
In a big way, this record is each one of us in terms of the songwriting. It's our perspective of processing what happened. And part of mental health is being able to process things in a healthy way, in a productive way. And this record in its totality, with all of its individual facets, is a testament to that. Each one of us had songs that we had written that displayed kind of the way we're working through that whole situation. And so it's important to have that kind of honest sort of dialogue and processing in these situations.
We like to describe our band as an art force because, I'm not the only author of this band. Dave isn't the only author of this band. Frazee isn't the only author of this band. We have different songs that we write and bring to the table, but we're also all day ones. There's a certain benefit that you get from having your friends and family from the minute you could think being the people that are supporting you in a creative effort, the people that bring stuff together with you to be an artist. we can't really hide from each other. We don't even try. So we know when to push each other. We know when to give each other the encouragement to bring what we create through to the next level. Like the 5th track on the record is called Type A. It was a song that Frazee wrote. And at first, like, it's a powerhouse song. It's a celebratory song now. There's a reason why it ends the A side of the record, because it brings so much emotion and it's so definitive. But it wasn't always like that. At first, it was kind of more timid. It was, I don't mean to speak for your song, but it was less. It was held back. And I never told Frazee what to write or how to write it, but I was like, I think you're on the cusp of something here. I think that I was pushing him in a direction, like, you gotta like tease out exactly what you're trying to talk about. And then one day he just came down and was like, here it is. And he played it. And I was like, okay, that's on the record. So that's why it's good to work together in that way, you know?
Yeah, I think it really speaks to kind of what Derek was saying about the day one aspect of each other. Like, he knows me so well that he not only knows the situation I was writing about, but maybe he has some insight into the emotions I was feeling or thinking about when I was writing the song. So when I'm trying to figure it out, whatever, and then he knows me so well that he can be like, oh, maybe you were thinking this or not that. Well, like he said, he wasn't telling me to write anything, but at the same time, it's kind of like, hey, here, this, here, that. And it's like, oh, you're right. That's how this is. And I think that's what made that song so great in the end, was just the collaboration we all had.
And that's just one little tiny tidbit, but that's kind of the way that we write all of our songs. We get to the point where we're pushing each other through to what we need to be.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if that's kind of how this album came together. You know, a lot of collaboration and you know, talking through things.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. We were all stuck together for when this pandemic started. Yeah, right. We're all still stuck together, but that's fine, because I mean, we jam all the time. We have what we got going on. We wrote a whole record. We actually wrote 2 records because we have multiple bands, but we're just going to talk about this. Yeah. So when all this started, I can honestly say, and I think I might speak for all of us here, that this wouldn't have happened if it weren't for the pandemic. Little tiny gem of that. We all had so much going on in our lives, and we were all so, I don't want to say separated, but just focused on what we were doing. When the pandemic happened, it scared the shit out of us.
Mm-hmm.
And it brought us to a place where we had to address what we were feeling, and we had to address each other. And we were writing music all throughout the start of the pandemic and getting stuff together in a very disjointed way of just like, oh yeah, these are good songs. These are good songs. We ended up creating an EP in the late summer that was released that's called I'll See You Before I Go. So there were some of like those ideas that were expressed in that record, but we still had so much content that we were just hanging on to. And then when Gage died, everything was stopped. It was like you could hear a pin drop in this house. It made us unify, right? I think that that's a little microcosm that happened in this house of what happened in the world, in the country, is that, you know, you have shared trauma. You have these experiences that bring you to a place where you feel scared and you don't know what to think and you don't know what to say. And you have 2 choices. You could let it eat you alive, or you can create something beautiful. And we chose the latter. We had no choice. So we gave our absolute all and we made this full length. And I remember listening to it the first time in my truck when we were done recording it, and I honestly like had to pull over. I was like, how the hell did we make this? I'm not trying to talk it up to say it's like a top charting record or something. I was just really surprised at the content and the amount of collaboration that we brought forward and the variety. I was like, okay. And that's when I realized that if it weren't for this stupid ass pandemic, then we wouldn't have had this record. I was like, okay, sweet. But then it became a beast and we didn't know what to do with it, which is why we're donating all of the money and we're trying to direct as much attention. We're getting a lot of attention as this band right now. And that, in a sense, kind of makes us feel guilty, because the whole point of us trying to give all the money to the Lifeline is because we didn't want to profit in any way from the album because of what happened with Gage. And if we're getting a lot of attention, we're trying to use our voice now to direct as much as we can in that direction, so that anybody that's experiencing something like that knows that it's not hopeless and there's always tomorrow if you want it. So I'm going to keep coming back to that point because that's a big part of what we're doing here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you should take anything away from, you know, who you are as musicians and your talent and all that kind of stuff, as far as, you know, feeling guilty about, you know, creating this piece of art and benefiting in any way. But I mean, I do appreciate, you know, the fact that you acknowledge that and want to take it a step further and do good with it.
Yeah, any sort of attention that we get from this, we're just going to continue to snowball into doing other sort of outreach projects. We've been musicians for a long time. We've had a lot of bands. We've been doing this for a hot second, and I think we've always tried to do it. Benefit shows, food. There was a while that I was booking like 20 shows a year in a church in Courtdale, and we just made it into a food drive every single time for the Domestic Violence Center. Not because we felt like we needed to assign some kind of virtue to our music, but like we're having like hundreds of people show up for a bunch of bands, and everybody is like, it's just like, okay, it just makes sense to do this kind of outreach work because we care about our community, we care about each other, and we want to make sure that we're using what we're not a super popular band. I don't know if you're able to pick up on that. We never really set out to do anything like that, but the little kind of attention that we get, we always try to funnel back into a positive way because it makes us feel good and it does real work. So this is like a hobby for us in a sense that we make music, but it turns into something more genuine and much more gratifying to be able to bring something forward like that and then do that kind of advocacy work. It needs to happen, you know? So if we could even do a sliver of that and contribute, then we feel good about what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to, you know, say that, and not to try and talk about myself because that's not what I want to do with this. But I mean, like what I'm doing here is kind of the same thing that, you know, what you guys are doing. I wish I had, you know, 1 million listeners or 1 million viewers that you know helped, you know, catapult you guys to the next level. But that's not the case. I mean, I built this whole platform so that I could try and help people. You know, give bands a platform that they can use to talk about, you know, stuff like this, and hopefully, you know, if one person hears this and donates to, you know, buys an album and it, you know, gets donated to the cause, and that's great. But I launched the Shirts for the Scene campaign for all the local musicians here in Northeastern Pennsylvania, where, you know, there's a whole store full of bands and merch that, you know, if you buy stuff, the proceeds from the sale go back to the bands. Because I mean, obviously, you guys, you know, you haven't been able to play a show really since last March.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You know, so
exactly.
I really wanted to, you know, bands are always, and you said this, bands are always the first people who donate their time and talents to, you know, benefits and help raise money. And it's like, we've never given back to the bands. You know, not that you guys have asked ever. You know, you guys do what you do because you want to. But now it's a time where, like, you know, you guys need help, not you specifically, but like, you know, musicians and artists. And
yeah, sure.
So
no, I was looking into what you were doing when we first got connected and we were talking about doing this. I looked into your project and I was like, this is awesome. I really appreciate what you're doing, especially for the NUPA music scene, because it needs people like you to get involved like that, especially because hopefully bands will always want to do that kind of outreach work. And especially the best thing you could do for a band to make them happy is like buy their shirt. You know, if you really want to show, like when I see a band that I truly like, yeah, I'll tell them that they're great, but like, you know, I'll buy something from their merch table. Like we have a ton of koozies just sitting over there from bands that we randomly played with that I wanted to show that we appreciated them. And I also wanted them to like have gas money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was back before the world decided to explode. Yeah. Hopefully we'll be able to play again soon when everybody can do it in a safe way.
Yeah, I'm hoping the summertime kind of things get better and more laxed and you know, there's the vaccine coming out and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know, man. I'm worried. It's a scary time. I don't want to be like negative Nancy, but it's like, and it was funny. I was just talking to the lead singer of a band called Send Request. locally here.
I know those guys.
Yeah, great
I
guys.
think we played with them once or twice when we were Ticket to Ride.
Awesome.
They're from Nanacoke, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
He and I were big Joe Rogan fans, and Joe Rogan has this new like energy drink / CBD drink out with Killcliff, and like for 12 cans, it's like $70 some, and I'm like,
Yeah, what the heck?
I know. So I'm like, I'm a huge Joe Rogan fan, so like he could tell me to go jump off a bridge, I'd probably do it. I'm nuts, right? But like, so I had a 12 pack of this drink in like my cart like at least 5 times. I'm like, no, I can't do it. Like I got things I got to take care of. And he reached out to me like 2 weeks ago and said, hey, I know you're a big Rogan fan. Have you tried this yet? And I said, no, I just couldn't pull the trigger on the price. He's like, me either, man. But you want to go halves on it? I said, yeah. I mean, that's a little more, doable. So he was just here at the house like 2 hours ago picking that up. But what was I getting at? He why did I bring that up? I don't know. Just similar things.
Did you have the energy drink? That's what we're all waiting for.
I have not had it yet.
Is it
I
good?
have not had it. It's like a pineapple jalapeno drink. I have not had it yet.
It's not word. As somebody who has jumped off a bridge for fun, I would try that drink, but I certainly wouldn't do it for like $70 or whatever.
Yeah.
That's why we try to make things affordable, because we're not Joe Rogan.
None of us are.
We're drinking hams over here. Yeah, we're balling on a budget all the time. So what are you gonna do?
I feel like an asshole now. 'Cause I forget why I even brought him up, but shit, I don't know. But I guess because he's very similar, similar in the fact that what you guys said before about, kind of taking a step back from, in this pandemic and what the world, kind of came to, and just self-reflecting and kind of diving into music and all that kind of stuff. That's not exactly where I was going, because I thought about that before, but whatever. I'm drinking, so hams. Go ham.
It's all right. I mean, I'm out. So
Get another one. Get another one.
Anybody else?
He did not need his arm twisted at all.
No. Hey, it's your show, man.
I'm here for you guys.
Appreciated. Very appreciated.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah,
glad.
I'm hopeful for this summer too.
Yes,
Honestly,
we're talking about the summertime, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it
who
was.
knows? Maybe we'll play Coachella.
Absolutely. just tell people you are, and then it'll get canceled, and you're like, oh, well, we had a date. I mean, we were on the bill.
Mhm. Well, drummer in Ticket to Ride is working on a lot of like really cool electronic music, and we were planning on going to Switzerland to the Geneva Montreux Jazz Festival right before this started. We had like made plans to do it, so that got canceled. My buddy Chris Castillo, who plays in a band called The Greater Victory, for a long time I helped him with booking a fest called Yardstock that was out in Chickasha. We got like, God, I don't even know how many people that would come out. It was just like a sea of people to come out and watch like 2 or 3 days worth of like 100 bands play in a field. So like there's a lot of stuff in the works, but like it's that kind of stuff that I'm looking forward to. Not necessarily that like Warped Tour is going to come back, or that like I'm excited to see what grassroots punk DIY kind of organizers do when this shit is over. Like I was talking about the Red Barons. Those guys are from Scranton, but now they live down here in Philly, and they're in Brewery Town. And we're working on all sorts of stuff. We're already trying to book a big outdoor fest type of deal in the spring at a Frisbee golf course, and it's called Sedgley Woods. And that's going to be sweet. But we have to build a stage, so we have to go heisting pallets in my truck again, which we've done because we built so many stages out of pallets. It's ridiculous, but so that's the kind of stuff we're stoked about.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Cool. Well, where can people find you guys on social media and the streaming services?
So we're everywhere. Wherever you get your music. If you stream on Spotify, we're there. Just find us under our name, Cuddledrug, one word. Amazon, Deezer, YouTube, Pandora, basically everything. So you could find all that stuff there, but for the sake of what we're doing right now, for the benefit that we're doing for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, you could find it on our Bandcamp, and that's cuddledrug.bandcamp/merch. One thing that we didn't hit on yet is Frazee painted all of the artwork. So my buddy Ashton did the actual photography for the album, but all the other elements on here, he painted. Those were original paintings that we ended up photoshopping on. So all of these things everywhere in this big pride heart that we have, which is a big part of our album too, those are all individual hand painted elements. So he made the decision to donate all of that. So we're also doing an art raffle. That's available on the Cuddledrug Bandcamp as well, which again is cuddledrug.bandcamp.com/merch. Entries are $1. There's no limit to how many times you could enter or where you enter in the world. It will ship free. And we're announcing those winners. We're choosing them and announcing them on our stream, which is on our Instagram, which is @Cuddledrug, this Saturday at 4:00. And we're playing a full band set to commemorate the record coming out, and then the record comes out the following day on Valentine's Day everywhere at 9 a.m. in New York. So that's when it launches everywhere.
Awesome.
Yep.
I mean, I think you guys should play your entire catalog, but that's just me.
We definitely would not have the time or energy for that. I think we
The
have
internet-
90 songs.
The internet is infinite. Like all you have is time. You're not limited to 1 hour. You can play the entire.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
We're working on a nice little cohesive set. We're playing a lot of the material from this album, but we're also playing some of the other material that is from,
classics.
a few throwbacks that are songs that we just love that we made as this band. So it's definitely not all new stuff, and it's not all old stuff either. So
Cool.
We're happy to bring it forward.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that I came across you guys. I think your music is great. I think what you're doing this weekend on the 13th and 14th is awesome. I'm sorry that it came at the expense of a dear friend of yours, but making
If he were here with us now, I feel like he'd just be like leaning on screen like, hey, everybody, get on that podcast, check out, like get on the live stream, like that kind of stuff. Cause he was always just so energetic and he was always so full of life. Yeah, we miss our friend.
Yeah.
But this is just one of those little things we can do. This has helped us personally so much in creating this to start to process what the hell happened. And I think that all of us soon will start to look at what happened over the whole year and what happened in the political sphere and like everything at large as soon as life starts to get back to what could be normal or whatever. And we're all going to be like, what the hell happened? We're all going to be left with trying to describe a lot of questions that don't have answers.
Yeah.
This album.
Yeah.
So there it is.
Oh, yeah.
And we're very grateful that you had us on.
Mhm.
And thank you so much. We're a bunch of drunk doofers chilling out. And seriously, though, from the bottom of our hearts as the band Cuddledrug, thanks for having us on your show. We love what you're doing, and we're happy to be on and support what you got going on, dude.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate the kind words, and I will be following you guys and seeing what you're up to. And best of luck this weekend with the live stream. Again, that's Saturday, February 13th at 4 p.m. on the Cuddledrug Instagram page. And you can also pick up the album the following day on the streaming services. But make sure you check out the live stream on Saturday. Guys, I mean, again, what you guys are doing, what you turned a terrible incident into, the best you could. So, kudos to you guys for doing that. And I wish you guys all the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Seriously,
guys.
be well.
Take
And
care.
everybody who's listening, stay well.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.